All right, this is Algebra lesson 2.1. Or not 2.1. What is this? 1.2, right? Order of operations. Why am I erasing that? I don't know. Okay. Order of operations is the order by which we have all agreed as mathematicians to do a string of math steps in a certain order. The order that we're going to use is called the order of operations. And what is that? There's an acronym for this. Do you remember what it is? PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS. I don't write it like that, but it's PEMDAS, right? And that is, what is the order of operations? What is the P for PEMDAS? Parentheses. Then E for PEMDAS. Exponents, right? Which is like that. And then M for PEMDAS. Multiply, D, there, add, and subtract. Now, here's the deal. And you know this already because you're in algebra now, but I'm going to review this. What this means is that when you have a string of things to do, the first thing you look for is parentheses, and you do whatever's inside the parentheses. Next thing you look for is exponents. You take care of the exponents. Then after that, you do which one comes first? Multiply or divide? Yeah, they're equal, right? They're equal to each other. It's whichever one comes first. From reading from left to right, whichever one comes first. What about add or subtract? Which one's more important? You realize also, people, that technically, do you remember about multiply and divide and add and subtract? Do you remember what's kind of weird about multiply and divide? They're actually the same thing. It's actually all multiply. Remember that? Whenever you divide something, it's actually this, you can multiply it. Whenever you add something, or when you subtract something, it's actually adding it. You see what I'm talking about? So really, it should go, parentheses, exponents, multiply, and add. Because they are the same. Divide's the same as multiply, subtract the same as addition, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, so there is our order of operations. So let me give you a couple of samples just to make sure that you're all over this, okay? Let's go 2 plus 3 times 5. Do that for me, please, right now. Does anybody have 25 as their answer? No? Good. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Our tendency is to simply read from left to right and do it from left to right, correct? That's not how you do it when you have the order of operations. The first thing you do is you consult the order of operations and you look here and go, okay, do you see any parentheses? No. Do you see any exponents? No. Do you see any multiply or divide? Oh, there's a multiply. That means you got to do that first. 3 times 5 is 15. Bring down everything else. 2 plus 15 is 17. How many of you got 17? Good. Simple stuff. Okay. What about, let's give you one that's a little bit more difficult. What is this? Let's go with, give me that one, please. We got this done. First thing we look for is parentheses. Do you see any? No. Next one, exponents. Do you see any exponents? Yes. Got to take care of that first. What is 4? What is that? Somebody read this to me. Richard, read this to me. Sorry, Scotland. Read this to me.
4 to the second power.
4 to the second power, or 4 squared. What does that mean? 4 times 4, right? It's the base 2 times. So this would be, what is 4 squared? 16 plus 7 divided by 7. Okay. Any other exponents? Okay. Any multiply or divide? Yes, got to deal with this. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 16 plus 1 is 17 again. Make sense? How many of you got 17? Okay. Let me give you a more difficult one. Okay, let's do this. Let's get a 16 minus 8 divided by 2 squared plus 14. There you go. Did you guys get a chance to work on this? All right, here we go. First thing I look for is parentheses. Do you see any? Okay. Then you look for exponents. Do you see any? Yes. 2 squared is 4. So bring everything down. I would, right? That's what I do. And I'm the teacher. 8 divided by 4 plus 14. Any other exponents? Multiply or divide? Yeah. 8 divided by 4? 16 minus 2 plus 14. Which one's more important, add or subtract? Neither one. So left to right, right? They're equal. 16 minus 2 is? 14 plus 14 is 28. How many of you got 28? Good. No?
No, I did plus 2 plus 14 first.
That's no good. Okay. Do you remember that adding and subtracting are equal, right? Okay. Okay. Let me give you one that is exciting. Okay. Would you like an exciting one? Hold on. I'm going to do this one for you. Well, I'll give you one here in a second to do on your own like this, but I'm going to give this one. I'm going to do this one for you. Okay, here's the deal. What is that thing called? Use a bracket, right? It's one of the grouping symbols, okay? There's several grouping symbols. The first grouping symbol is parentheses. The next one's a bracket. It's not that cold in here. It's actually hot. I wish it was like 5 degrees cooler, but that's fine. Parentheses, brackets, there's the squiggly line thing, you know what I'm talking about, and it goes like this, right? You got those. They're all the same. They're all grouping symbols. Which one's more important? No, there's no more important. Just like always, follow the same rules. Neither one of them is more important. You just always do them from left to right. So here's the deal. Technically, we all know that which one of these guys, what is the first thing I'm going to do here? When you look at this, what's the first thing I'm going to do? Right, but what actual thing am I going to do in here? I'm going to go 2 plus 3. Do you see what I'm talking about? But so it looks like you're doing the opposite. Doesn't it look like you're doing the second set of parentheses first? Isn't this the first set and that's the second set? Right? I say, here's the deal. That's not true. Let's go through this systematically like we're supposed to. Consult the order of operations. First thing we look for is parentheses. Do we see any? Yeah, there's a couple of them. Okay, so which one are we supposed to do first? Left to right, right? Left to right is what we're supposed to do first. So let's look at that. Let's do this one first, so pay attention. I'm going to do that one first. When you get your new set of parentheses, whatever is inside the parentheses is like a brand new problem, right? So I look inside that set of parentheses and I start the whole PEMDAS thing over. And I go, do I see any parentheses? Oh, yeah, I do. Now, that's why you do this one first, is because you're actually doing the other one first. So 2 plus 3 is 5. Keep in parentheses. 32 minus, in brackets, 6 out here. Okay? Now, inside of the brackets, do you see any other parentheses that I can do something with? No. Okay, now, inside of there, do you see any exponents? Yes. 5 squared is 25. Okay. 32 minus 25. 6 times 7. 42. Notice this. This is very important. Well, we'll come back to this later. That's fine. 42 is the answer. Okay, and now I'm going to give you one. Let's do 3B in the middle of page 11. Okay, here we go. First thing we look for is what? Parentheses. Do you see any? Yeah, a couple of sets. Which one do I do first? Left to right. Left to right. So, we go out here, we grab this guy first. This is the one we're going to do first. Inside of there is a new problem. Do you see any parentheses? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's take care of that. What's 3 minus 2? 1. Leave it in parentheses. 10 plus brackets, re-bracket that. 15 minus. Okay. Any other parentheses in there? No. Any other exponents in there? Oh, yeah. What's 1 squared? 1. Ten plus 1? How many of you have 4 as the answer? What? Oh, I didn't write that down. Oh, that's kind of hidden. There's a plus 6 out here. Okay, so we'll just keep putting the plus 6 out here. Now what do I do? I've got this. Which one do I do first? Left to right. So what's 15 minus 11? 4 plus 6 is 10. How many of you got 10? All right, so you got 4 without the 6. That's fine. Makes sense. Okay. Okay, here's another one that you need to get. What about this? Before I let you go, we're gonna talk about it. First thing you look for is parentheses. Do you see any? Yes. Just like here, if I was to say the number 7, if I was to ask you, is there a decimal with that 7? The answer is yes. It's just invisible. We don't write it. It's right here, right? Just like if I was to ask you, is there a plus sign in front of that 7? Yeah, it's just invisible. I could also say that there's actually an exponent here. I mean, it's a 1, but we don't, right? You know, it's 7 to the first power, which is just 7. My point is that, yes, you need to think of it like this. Whenever you have a division problem, we talked about this last year, I remember. Whenever you have a division problem and you can simplify the top or the bottom, what's the rule? The rule is you take care of the whole top, and then you take care of the whole bottom, and then you divide. So in other words, before you do anything else, you got to take care of the top. You got to simplify the top. So when I say you got to simplify the top, what does that mean? Is really right there? It means there's parentheses. You got to simplify that up there, and you got to simplify this down here. Then you divide. Does that make sense? So in the top, do you see the parentheses? Yes, there's 2 sets. Which one do I do first, the top or the bottom? The top. We're reading from top to bottom, right? So then, inside the parentheses up there, do you see any other parentheses? No. Any exponents? Yeah, 2 to the third. What does 2 to the third mean? 2 times 2 times 2. What's 2 times 2? 4. 4 times 2? 8. So it's 8 minus 5 on the top over 15 plus 9. 8 minus 5 is 3. 15 plus 9 is 24. Now we divide. What's 3 divided by 24? In this situation, what are they probably looking for here? Right, it's a fraction. Don't you agree that all you've done here is just you've got a fraction, so this would be 1/8. If they said round to the nearest, and all of a sudden, okay, now they really want you to go 1 divided by 8, which is 0.125. But that's whatever. This one is 1/8. The main point of this is that if you see and I ask you to see the parentheses, the answer is yes. You have to do the whole top, and then you do the whole bottom, and then you divide. Make sense? Okay. Do number 3C then. It's funny. We'll talk about this here in a second. Okay. Do you see any parentheses here? How many? 4. 4. There are actually 4 here because technically it's all of this and all of this. Does that make sense? Either way, you don't even really have to write the parentheses there. What is the whole point of this? Is that you do the whole top, and then you do the whole bottom, and then you divide, right? Dividing is the last thing that you do. So anyway, let's do the top. What did you see? There's parentheses here. What do I do? 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 squared is, down here, 7 minus 4, 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 81 divided by 9, 9. How many of you got 9? No? No? Do you see why and how I got it? Oh, you put 81 over 9? That's fine. But if you have an improper fraction that can be reduced to a whole number, you always do. You always do. Okay, the last thing that we're doing here before break, and that is this. 3x squared plus 2y plus z to the third in parentheses. And then they say that x equals 4, y equals 5, z equals 3. We have done this. What is it? What do they say I need to do here? Simplify. What are they saying I need to do? How do I do this? What is the steps that I do here? What do I have to do before I do anything? I mean, okay, does this help me at all to have an x and a y and a z? Or is that going to help me answer this? So what am I going to do? Plug them in, right? I'm going to plug the numbers in. When I plug them in, how do I do it? I put the numbers in parentheses, right? So watch this. Before you do anything, you have to plug everything in. You're going to go 3 times 4 squared plus 2 times 5 plus, in parentheses, 3 to the third. Does that make sense? Why is it so important that we do that? Do you remember? What if z was negative 3? And I came down here and did this part here, and I have negative 3 to the third. Do you remember how this works? What is negative 3 to the third? Is it 81? Negative 81? What is it? What if it was this? What if it was squared? 3 squared. What's the answer? What is this answer? 9? No, that's wrong. It's negative 9. If I wanted you to square the negative 3, what would I have put? Parentheses around it. Otherwise, what's actually happening here is the 3 is being squared, and the negative is actually negative 1, which is, listen, this right here, written just like that, is negative 1 times 3 squared. Which is why you would square that, 9, and then multiply by negative 1. That's why this is negative 9. If I wanted you to square the negative 3, what am I going to do? Put it in parentheses. So is the parentheses important when you plug this stuff in? Does the parentheses change things? Absolutely. You plug it in just like that. Now that you've done that, now you go, okay, do we have any parentheses here? Yes, that's this stuff in here. What do I do with that baby? I go, okay, what? First of all, inside the parentheses, do you see any other parentheses? Parentheses that can be simplified? No. Do you see any exponents in there? Yes. So I have 3 times 4 squared plus 2 times 5 plus, not 9, what is that? What is it? I'm sorry, what is it? 27. Okay. So now I go, okay, is there any other parentheses in here? No. Exponents? Multiply or divide? Yes, 2 times 5 is 10, so 3 times 4 squared plus 10 plus 27. Inside the parentheses, I have 3 times 4 squared plus 37. Now what do? I'm done with the parentheses. I finally finished the parentheses. Now I go back and go, okay, do I see any other parentheses that can be simplified? No. Any exponents? Yes. What is being... Would some of you maybe have been tempted to go 3 times 4 here? Absolutely. Don't be tempted to do that, right? That's why you go, okay, 4 squared. What's 4 squared? 16. 3 times 16 plus 37. What's 3 times 16? 48 plus 37 is 85. Make sense? Long. Nothing, it's not hard. Okay. I want you to do one of these for me, and then I'll let you go to lunch. A squared times 3b plus 5 divided by c. And a equals 2, b equals 6, c equals 4. Do that one for me, and then I'll give you your homework. So here we go. What do I do first thing? Plug this stuff in, right? You can't do anything without plugging it in. So let's plug it in. A is 2, so it's in parentheses 2 squared times 3 times 6 plus 5 divided by 4. Right? I just plug everything in, put it in parentheses. You see any parentheses? Yes. Inside the parentheses, do you see any other parentheses? No. Any exponents? No. Multiply or divide? 3 times 6 is 18 plus 5. 2 squared divided by 4. Finish this up. 23. 2 squared. Now, what was it doing here? What was going on here? It's just, what's the a squared doing? What's the 2 squared doing to the parentheses? It's multiplying. It's just right next to it, right? So it's times. You can put a dot there if you want to. Divided by 4. Any other parentheses that can be simplified? Any exponents? Yes. 2 squared is 4 times 23 divided by 4. Which one's more important, multiply or divide? They're the same. So I go left to right. Now here's the deal. This is using, if you have any idea how to do this, the answer is 23, I can tell you. Because look, it's 4 times a number divided by 4. If I take something and multiply it by 4, and then divide it by 4, I'm back to that same number. Does that make sense? But anyway, what is 4 times 23? 92 divided by 4 is 23. So, but hopefully you could look at that and know how to do that. The answer is 23. How many of you got 23? Okay. Were you able to follow what I was doing though? Okay. Let me give you your homework. And then you can go. Homework is page 12 to 15, 1 through 36 even. That's it. Here's the deal. 36, I'm going to make be, well, I don't use the word extra credit. Just, you all have to try number 36. And you want to get it right.